Hello and welcome to part 4 and maybe final video of the A4 investigation. Yesterday I took the car back up to Audi just because I didn't want to drive it with that many detonations happening. I did feel like it probably was getting to the point where it was damaging the engine, and with the service reports saying that I was going to be responsible, while I don't think that's defensible, I didn't want to risk it and have to go through a legal process to ensure that I wasn't responsible. When I got to Audi, I spoke with he was very cool about the whole thing, and he assured me that I wouldn't be responsible for any damage to the engine, no matter what the service reports say, and I believe him. But that's spoken word, and while I trust him, that isn't in writing. What is in writing is that I am going to be responsible. So I left the car there. If something happens and it is able to be fixed before the buyback request is finished or accepted, then great. I can just go pick it back up. Car works fine. Boom. I don't think that's going to happen. Based on my conversation with him, he said that this problem is localized to the region that I live in, and mostly just this dealership, which is very strange because it's, from what he said, it's one specific engine, the 2.0 turbo Ultra engine. I guess that's the engine model that they use on the baseline A3, A4, and A5. I'm not sure if it extends to the Q3 and Q5, but I know it's the baseline engine that is on the A3, 4, and 5. Audi did, I guess, or this is his theory. He said that he thinks that Audi did a cost-benefit analysis, and the cost to retune the car and get it approved by the EPA, since it does change the emissions profile of the engine a little bit, the cost of getting that recertified by the EPA is extremely high compared to the cost of just buying these cars back. So I can respect that. It's just a cost-benefit analysis. If it is cheaper for Audi just to buy the cars back, it makes sense that they would do that instead of getting it recertified and having to make modifications to the cars, which is a much, much longer, more complicated process. All that to say, I do understand the logic there. I think I don't blame Audi for making that call. If I was a company, that would be the same call I make. But I do think this could have been handled much, much better on Audi's part. Just coming out up front and saying, hey, if you have a car that's experiencing these problems, we'll buy it back from you, and prioritizing that instead of blaming the customers, saying, hey, your fuel's bad and you're going to be responsible for the engine. In my opinion, that was a very, very poor way of handling this, and they were not being upfront and honest about what's going on. So that's my main problem with this whole process. Again, I don't blame Audi for not wanting to go through that recertification with the EPA. That makes sense, especially if it's a problem that's so localized. They probably won't have to buy back that many cars, relatively speaking, to what they produce and sell. But from a customer's standpoint, it was handled very, very poorly on Audi's part. And so, again, while I understand the reasoning for buying the cars back instead of fixing them, I think that making the buyback process more clear and them being more honest would have been a much, much better way to go, especially for maintaining their brand image with their existing customers. Because I'll be honest, Audis are my favorite car. I think they're a blast to drive. They handle incredibly. They have just enough power to make them fun, even in the baseline models. But my opinion has suffered considerably going through this process. And my next car is not going to be an Audi, which bums me out to say because I've been a huge fan. Yeah, I feel a little burned by this whole process, and that's obviously not what a company wants their customers coming away feeling like. And I still don't know for sure if they're going to accept the return. If they don't, that's a whole nother thing. If they do, then we can just all move on and get on with our driving. But yeah, that was a bummer to learn, but it at least gave some explanation as to why things are happening the way that they are. I definitely think, again, Audi could have been much more clear and upfront about what was going on, but they chose not to be. I don't know why, but I expect this problem to be cleared up with the 2023 models. But again, I won't be buying an Audi for a little bit. I've heard that they're coming out with an electric replacement for the TT, and I have said for probably over 4 or 5 years that once they have an electric TT, it's game over. So I really look forward to that car, but until then, unfortunately, I will be looking elsewhere. On the upside, this process has made me examine what I value in a car and what I really want in my next car. So my favorite car I've ever driven is the 2008 V6 Audi TT, the 3.2 liter, naturally aspirated. I think it was naturally aspirated. Yeah, that car was just a blast. It was like a go-kart. So I'll be looking for something small, something zippy, probably a coupe, probably a low to the ground. See what I can come up with. Maybe in the future, when that electric TT comes out, I'll give it a couple of years, and then maybe we'll see what we can do about that. But yeah, this whole process has sucked, but it is what it is, and I'll probably do one more video letting you guys know the result of the buyback request and maybe what I choose for my next car. If you'd find that interesting, let me know. I know I put Audi on blast quite a bit, and I think it was deserved for how poorly they handled this. But if anyone from Audi's watching, I get the reasoning, but from a customer standpoint, it was handled very poorly. If you're just more upfront and let the customers know what was going on, I'd probably still be an Audi right now. And my next car, I wouldn't have the hesitation that I might be getting burned on the next one. And so I'd be much more likely to replace it with a different model. Like maybe an A4 Premium or something with the upgraded engine. But it hasn't been fun. Hopefully soon I can put this all behind me and get back to driving. So yeah, until then, I'll be carpooling with my wife. It's going to throw off my schedule a little bit, but I'm not sure what else to do. Like I've said many times, I'm not trying to blow up an engine, and I'm not, going to try to make Audi pay, for giving me a broken car. I guess that's it. Like I said, I'll probably release one more video about this, just closing out the whole process, but it looks like we're getting to the end, and I'm glad about that. It'll be bittersweet, but being able to put the stress behind me will be worth it. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Be sure to be kind to someone, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.